Welcome to season 2 of TBR Live, interesting conversation with interesting people. Today's very special guest is Miss Susan Vanderbilt. We're going to discuss her passion, her life, her career, and we'll discuss a few other things too. TBR Live, interesting conversation with interesting people. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Our very special guest today is Miss Susan Vanderbilt. Today we'll talk about her life, her career, anything that she wants to promote, and we might even tell a few jokes. So let's get right into it. Thank you very much. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Okay, so for the people who may or may not have met you yet, first question is, who is Susan Vanderbilt?
Susan Vanderbilt is a native Nashvilleian who now lives in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. She is, and I don't have a problem saying this, 43 years old. I'm glad to be living. A lot of people don't make it that long, so I'm glad to be 43. Married, mother of 2 boys, one college last year, senior, and a 7th grader. Sibling of one. I have one other sibling. And I don't know, I'll do diversity inclusion, small business development. I'll help anybody who needs help. If I can't help you, I probably can find somebody that can. Okay. I love connecting people, and I believe service is the greatest form of leadership. So, yeah.
Very good. Okay, so your career, what exactly is it that you do for the people?
I help people, and I know, and you might think, how did you get into diversity inclusion? My background is in, I have a master's degree in speech and hearing science. Okay. But I have an undergraduate degree in social science. Okay. But I typically work with individuals in the construction industry. Okay. So Susan, how did you get from social science to speech and hearing science to construction? Those seem like 3 totally different things, but they're all connected because it's really about communication and helping others find out how whatever they're doing could benefit someone else, and finding someone who has that need and then connecting them. Okay. So yeah, so pretty much that's what I do every day. Yeah. Fantastic.
Okay, so it sounds like you have a passion for helping people. Yeah. So where does that come from?
I don't know. As far back, I try to think. Several people have asked that question, so I try to think back, and the only thing I can come up with is I remember being like maybe preteen, teenager, something like that, and I remember a conversation, and I don't know who I had this conversation with, about what if somebody was on a bridge and they were going to jump off, and I talk about how there are people on bridges every day that are at the verge of jumping off. It might not be a bridge, but they may be at a bridge point in their life, and this is me as a young person thinking this. I might be the one person and might be able to say something to that person that'll turn their whole life around. And so ever since then, I don't know, I just always give of myself, share what I know, help the next person. I can't take it with me. Everything God's given me, I got to leave it here when I go. So why not help somebody else? But that's where I can think of that might come from. Okay. That's just me. That's just how I function. So, okay. But that's about as far back as I can go where that might have come from. So, yeah.
Is there a particular area that you enjoy the most in terms of what you do? Is there something that you like more or prefer more than something else?
I can't really say that that's something that I prefer more than anything else. I can say that I find the greatest joy when other people find joy. So if I can help you get where you're trying to go, okay, I'm on cloud 9. Okay. And it's not like, look at me, say Susan helped you. It's look at you. Look where you've gone. Look what you've done. Do you remember where you were? I do. And I remember something I said or something somebody else said or something you said yourself that was a realization that I can do this. Yeah. Now look at you now. Now all I ask is that if the opportunity presents itself or when it does and somebody comes your way and you have something you can offer them, that you pay that forward. So for me, is what I love most, is to help people really move forward and they reach these plateaus or places in their lives that they've been trying to get to. Then I say, well, what's next? Okay. You're there now, so now what's next? So, yeah.
How do you feel about the state of Nashville right now? All the growth and all the different things that are going on. What are your thoughts about that?
I feel good about Nashville. I think that there may be ways to help native Nashvilleians stay more connected with everything that's going on or include them in what's going on. When I look at Nashville, it's interesting. I was walking past Nashville Village, and being native, I remember coming down here as a school field trip, and it looked a lot different than it does now. But being able to participate with an organization of women who Power Women is what it is. And they're architects and engineers, which I'm none of, but they perform in the construction industry. We had an opportunity to view and walk through Nashville Village's remodel as it was taking place. And to see it transform, I just thought to myself, you know, Nashville is transforming, seriously, because that's like the first settlement. It's just really transforming. Even the first settlement is transforming. So how do you keep Nashvillians really involved, native Nashvillians? As other people join us, come right in, definitely. But we don't want to push out people that have been here aged. I got 4 generations that are Nashvillians, you know, so how do we keep those Nashvillians who go to church here, live here, work here, friends here, life here, school here, connected with Nashville as Nashville morphs and grows? So, yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's say for a moment that you were in leadership, let's say mayor or something. Okay. What would be your top 2 prime directives to get done?
Mayor. Okay. Nashville. Communication.
Okay.
It's my understanding that the education system here in Metro Nashville, Davidson County, there are more than 130 some odd plus languages. So if the children are speaking those languages, they must have learned that language somewhere.
Right.
Parents, maybe?
Right.
So if the parents are speaking those languages and everybody's speaking a different language, how are we all connected? How are we all growing? There's one facet growing, or maybe 3 or 4 facets that are growing, but how are the people growing?
Right.
So how can we better communicate with each other so that everybody can take part in what we're doing? Figure out ways to make that happen, disseminate information in ways that people can understand it and partake in it, and then listen in ways that as a mayor or governing body, you could understand it. That's one thing. And then 2, is housing. I know because I have family that's still here. If my family were to sell their homes, pick East Nashville, because we've lived, I got family live 1600 Eastern Avenue, you know, 9th Avenue South. I mean, those look very different. 14th Avenue North looks very different. Still have family on 10th Avenue North and 9th Avenue North. They look different than they did even 2 or 3 years ago. So let's look at housing. When we say affordable housing, I think a lot of times it's misconstrued in the sense that it's the typical governmental offered housing that's a hand up, leg up, help you get on your feet, get going, get settled, and then move and grow. But we're talking about average, everyday people that have gone to work for ages, you know, generations, and they've been in these homes. And now people that are moving here are saying that the codes need to be different, and people that have had garages in their backyards for years and nobody's ever said anything, the garage been that way 50 years. Yeah, maybe I could put a little paint on it or something like that, but to say I have to have totally new codes to live in a home that I've been in for 50, 60, 70 years, that's kind of interesting to me, because if they were to sell those homes, they'd have to move outside of Metro Nashville, Davidson County to even afford the same similar kind of dwelling that they were in, if they can compete to get it. Because when I was in the bid wars, you know, on a lot of these houses. So that would probably be the second thing that I would definitely work on, affordable housing. People work and play here, but they gotta live somewhere. You know, they all drive in from the surrounding counties. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Opportunities for women. Has it gotten better?
I think to a certain degree it has, but much like the civil rights movement, you think, okay, they've arrived, and you stop striving. So you have to look at it from the perspective, if it's a glass ceiling, break through it. Figure out how there's power in numbers. What is it that we offer as women, regardless of the scope of work we're in, as women, as a collective? What do we offer that others cannot? What do we bring that from a male perspective doesn't exist already in whatever workplace it is? And how can you make that of value? As long as you can make it a value, people are willing to find their value, because they've got to compete some kind of way. There's got to be a difference maker. Right. So as women, don't let us not be our own hindrance in that sense. There are enough hindrances there anyway. Come together and collaborate. You know, a lot of times people say competition. I say it should be a co-opetition amongst women. Come together and figure out as a collective how we can bargain ourselves higher in whatever workplace we're in, and let's not be afraid to keep striving, even though we've arrived. Have you ever really arrived? You know, earlier I talked about once you've reached that, what's next? It's kind of the same kind of thing. So to a certain degree, it is better for women. But we still got a long way to go. I mean, just look at the wage gaps. I mean, you know, so there's still a long way to go. And then you look at some industries, and some industries have no women at the top, none. But then there's some industries, the first woman they turn the whole business around, whole corporation around. You know, a corporation that was failing, they turn it around. So what are we missing that we're not taking advantage of in our women in the workplace? And there are a lot of things that we're missing that we could take advantage of if we just opened up, you know, the whole communication line, that whole thought process, that it's not a male-female thing so much as it is who has something to offer that's of value to what we're doing. And so, my thoughts.
Okay. Do you have anything to promote? Are you working on anything? Is anything about to come out? Book, speaking engagements, whatever.
Promoting, usually, and a lot of people ask, do you promote anything? Usually I don't promote anything. I just, like, when I walked up and I said, hey, nice to meet you, Riley. I just do what I do, and I don't necessarily promote it. Hopefully it benefits someone in some way. I'm involved in quite a number of things. Like I said, AEC Power Women, they're often doing things. You just asked me about women in the workplace setting. Those are some things that people can be looking out for that they will have coming to Nashville even more so than we have in the past. And I look forward to participating in that. I am the president of Delta Sigma Theta Rutherford County Alumni Chapter, so we've got quite a number of things coming out of the chapter itself, not necessarily something that I'm promoting personally, but definitely that chapter is of benefit when you talk about Middle Tennessee. The Nashville Black Chamber of Commerce, I'm the chair of the board of directors for the Nashville Black Chamber of Commerce. So when you look to what we're doing with that, it's really growing, it's morphing, it's more encompassing. We've spanned the generations. It's not the Black Chamber of Commerce of old. It is Chamber of Commerce. It's very inclusive, both business professionals and businesses, very focused, very driven kind of an organization that you will see that has lots of value. So we'll say that. I'm currently finishing up, and we're in our last kind of downhill on the Criminal Justice Center, working on that under Bell Construction, City of Nashville project. That's coming. And I don't know. My mom said, write a book before I pass. And so I guess I need to start writing that book. You know, I don't know what it'll be about, but maybe I'll have somebody just take me talking and then we'll write it, you know, because I'm not one to write. I am a reader, avid reader, but when it comes to promoting, I mean, usually not. Usually I'm promoting other people and helping them grow. But I guess, I don't know.
I come in contact with a huge amount of young people.
Okay.
Some of them are just trying to figure out where they want to go, what they want to do. So based on your experiences, give me two things that you would say to young people, male or female, doesn't matter.
It's funny you ask that because I have mentees.
Okay.
They span the southeastern United States. It sounds like crazy. Susan, most of Vanderbilt, TSU, MTSU, high school students, passionate. That's a real passion of mine, and that's really helping people grow because they don't know where they are. But it's not let me tell you where you are or go look at it in a book, on a magazine, take some test. You ask yourself, truly, and people that are successful ask us, what would I do for free every day? If I could do it for free, money were no object, what would I do? So I ask them that. I'm not talking about play video games. I'm saying, what do you love to do? What makes you most happy? You ask yourself that question. And then you ask yourself that same kind of a question in every facet of your life. Family, friends, relationships, money, for work, you know, what would I do for free, for fun rather? Where are you in that place? And then ask yourself, if you're not there, how do you get there? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now, taking what you just told yourself, what you wrote down yourself, because it doesn't benefit me. I mean, when I get through, I'm going back home to the 2 kids and a husband and a life. So you take those questions you just asked yourself and the answers that you gave and ask yourself, are you there? If you're not there, how do you get there? Have you thought about how you're going to get there? If not, let's look at that. And so that's kind of like what I do. Those are the 2 questions I ask. Where are you in all these places? You know, where would you want to be? When you're most happy in those places, what does that look like? And then if you're not there, how do you get there? So that's kind of what we do. And we do that over and over until they get to do it. And then I ask, hey, have you asked yourself your questions? Have you questioned yourself lately? Have you interviewed yourself? And I always laugh about that. And male and female alike. And I have had great success with that. Quite a number of young people have gone on to do some fantastic, amazing stuff, and I really love to watch them grow. So
Very good. If someone needs to or wanted to find you to connect with you for what your services are and your wonderful willingness to help people, how do we find you?
Sure. Susan Vanderbilt, SUSAN VANDER, BILT at entreesavvy.com. That's ENTREESAVVY.com, or entreesavvy.com, or 901-569-7160.
Very good. All right. Well, that's all we got. Thank you very, very much for participating in this show. Look forward to speaking with you again.
Most definitely. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.